Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the weekly reading for the sign of Pisces. Alright Pisces, this is it. You're the final reading of the weeklies, and this is going to be for November 17th to the 23rd, and we're going to get right into pulling out your weekly messages for the romance angels. Straight out we have honeymoon. Nice. And we have religious factors. New love. All right, so religious factors have been coming out everywhere. And I wonder if it's just because of the season. You know, there's a lot of religious holidays coming up. And for some reason, religious factors are being, you know, your love life is being influenced by your religious upbringing or your spiritual path. And I think in a lot of ways, this can indicate that a lot of people are choosing to either go into relationships or leave relationships that no longer are in line with their sort of spiritual center or where they are spiritually. You know, and I think this is also part of the whole kind of purging that a lot of us are going through, releasing toxicity or releasing relationships that really just don't serve us anymore. A lot of people are resonating with a higher spiritual center right now, and I think that this is also relating to your love connections, right? Some of you, of course, are dealing with religious issues and backgrounds, but again, that's as far as I'd like to go before we really get into your traditional spread. But let's pull out your animal spirits and see, Pisces, what kind of animal spirits you're resonating with this week. The horse. Strong earth energy. Very, very strong. Pull my little angel in. There we go. And we have the lamb, more earth energy. Harbinger of something new, a new creation coming into life. And the bee. The bee is a regular player in my readings. And of course, Pisces, the bee shows up for you. We are talking about air energy with the bee. Let's get right into it. The horse is one of the strongest, highest creatures, really animals in the deck for the mastery of the earth plane. In fact, he is the master of the earthly plane. Strong, reliable, stable. Also a deep connection to the third eye and the mystical side of life. In this sense, the horse is very, very intuitive and empathic, highly attuned to his spiritual center, but yet also a master of bringing that spiritual understanding into his everyday sort of life, right? Into the world of the material. And the horse is very unique in this way. One of the strongest cards for really carrying you over difficult times. The horse is one of those creatures that carries you, right? You ride the horse, and it doesn't really matter how far you need to go or what the terrain is. The horse will never sort of drop you, right? The horse is extremely stable, and this energy that comes in is one of sort of like being able to make it day by day by day, no matter how much you know, the momentum doesn't stop, and the endurance, you know, the horse has a huge amount of endurance, and yet the entire time he remains very stable, grounded, and still in touch with his spiritual center. Very strong card for manifesting dreams in the material and getting through the obstacles to those dreams. Now, the lamb is also earth energy, and look at all of those beautiful rays of green, which indicate the birth of something special, something really creative and beautiful. Lamb can indicate the arrival of a child. But oftentimes, whatever the case may be, the lamb indicates that something is emerging or beginning to grow, beginning to form, something highly creative, something very special, and something that needs a lot of tender care and nurturing for it to sort of come into the world and be born. The lamb can also indicate messages that come in from the divine or from the spirit, in a sense of inspiration or messages that give you beautiful new creative ideas, but the messages come in very lightly, right? They're not like boom, they're light. And so it's a period of being quiet and stilling your mind, trying not to be around a lot of chaos, because something is trying to sort of get in your ear. There's a message or an idea that's trying to come through, but it's getting lost in the chaos that's around you. So lamb energy oftentimes talks about coming out of the chaos and going someplace quiet so that inspiration can come in. Now the bee is air energy, and the bee is the great Democrat in the deck, and the bee is a lovely personality to be around. They're very hardworking. They bring a sense of flair and creativity to everything that they do. This is the person in the group who's always going to be there. If they say they're going to help, they're going to help. If, they're not, they're reliable. This is the person who's reliable. This is the person who comes and they help you out with great ideas. They're always willing to lend a mental hand, right? And they communicate very well. The bee is the one who keeps all of the energies in a group sort of working away nicely. The bee is the one who can oftentimes mediate an argument, because nobody's ever arguing with the bee. Everyone gets along with this personality. So this is the person in the group that oftentimes will be the one that everyone goes to try to fix something or to try to reconcile a fallout or something like that. It'll be the bee who wants to buzz around and get everybody back on the same page, right? In a lot of ways, the bee is actually the social butterfly, if you will, right? Even though it's not a butterfly, and butterfly is actually associated with transformation, but it's really the bee that's the social butterfly in the sense that they're the ones who love to buzz around. They love to be around their friends, and they love to be social, and everyone really loves to be around them. All right, Pisces, so let's go ahead and pull out your spreads. We're going to do anywhere from 4 to 8 3-card spreads for this week. And of course, just take what resonates with you and let the rest go. And straight out, we have the King of Pentacles coming in, the Emperor, and the Page of Pentacles. So some of you are starting a new project with someone. You are coming in as the benefactor, Pisces. You're the one who's coming in with the money, but you're meeting up with somebody who is is equal to you in a lot of ways. But this person is the one who's really the leader, as a sense, the authoritarian, the one who makes all the real decisions. And so you end this week with a Page of Pentacles, which is a whole new idea. You guys formulate a new plan, a new idea. I think for some of you, this is very much a meeting to do with your career, your business, your finance, and you're meeting with a heavy hitter that's just as heavy hitting as you. You guys kind of maybe form a partnership or a new idea for a venture to go forward. This is going to be a very auspicious meeting, a strong meeting. And this isn't bullshit, right? I mean, this is not like you got bumping into somebody like, hey guys, let's open up, this is a meeting between two people who have already established themselves to be successful, to come through, to be able to manifest things. These aren't just people who think that they're King of Pentacles and the Emperor. They really are. And so you're coming in as King of Pentacles, Pisces. Some of you have, you may be investing in a particular idea. You may be looking for an idea to invest in. This could be somebody you already know as well, and you come together and you formulate an idea. But I do feel you guys are both going to be older. This is not necessarily gender specific either. My readings aren't gender specific, but you're probably going to be older because you've already spent the time to establish yourselves in your fields, right? So this is you guys are both going to be individuals who have a lot of experience, a lot of respect for who you are in your field, and the coming together of you two is really going to be the beginning of a wonderful, wonderful new idea. This could very much be lamb energy coming in terms of a new creative idea emerging. 5 of Wands, 9 of Cups, and 3 of Cups. So some of you enter this week, Pisces, in a power struggle with somebody. There's a lot of competitiveness going on right now. You're met with a 9 of Cups, which is really a wish fulfillment. So yeah, you were in a situation where there was a lot of competitiveness going on. I want to say this is in the area of love. There was a lot of bickering and arguing, and everybody wants to be right. But here we're talking about one-upmanship. So this oftentimes is a competitive struggle that you find yourself in with someone. And certainly this can a lot of times come up for a love connection. But you get your wish because you're met with a 9 of Cups. And I want to say that even though there's this competitive struggle going on, the person that you're competing for wants you. They want you, and part of them may enjoy a little bit of this, you know, they may be getting off on the fact that people are competing for them, but not so much. I think really they are very sort of contented and happy really to be with you. And I think they make this clear because you end the week with a sense of celebration. Three of Cups is celebrating with your friends, being happy, bonding is increasing, loyalty is increasing. And I think for some of you, whatever this kind of thing, this energy here was that seemed like it was kind of, almost seemed like it was about to go into a third party energy, this week you get your wish in a sense that it completely goes away. Your person really lets you know that they care for you and you only. And you guys have a really good communication. You end the week certainly in celebration. You can get over this hump. Pisces, Judgment. There's your Judgment, which has been coming in for everyone. And High Priestess starting to come in for people. So Judgment comes in when you're able to finally lay down some of your own prejudices and your own sort of egocentric way of looking at things or looking at a particular scenario. And you begin to see it from everyone's side. You begin to sort of relax your over-criticism. And you begin to understand a little bit about what's really happened in that scenario. You forgive yourself, you forgive others. Judgment is learning how to really look at a situation objectively because, you know, life has taught you not to be so single-minded. Life has taught you not to always look at everything through your own eyes and through your own ego because things aren't that way. And that lesson has allowed you to be able to better judge a situation, better discern what's really going on in a situation, and oftentimes to look at a particular event or a dynamic from a much broader and expansive viewpoint and to really see it for what it is. So you're coming into this week with this kind of understanding, and you're met with a High Priestess. So someone is, I want to say, you're kind of getting a lot of reaffirmation coming back, and you're met with this High Priestess in a lot of ways. Could very well be that that the scenario that you're coming into, that you're kind of reevaluating, that you're kind of trying to let go of a little bit. The person that's involved in that scenario, I think that they're going to be very much like having expected you to come back. You know, they may be like, well, I knew you were going to come back after a little while, or I knew we would reconcile after a little while. There's some kind of level of them having waited and been expecting you, right? That is apparent here in this scenario. It's quite interesting. And it could very well be that you are really coming into someone this week and maybe trying to reconcile with them, right? Maybe trying to get over a misunderstanding with them, and they're being a little bit cagey, but yet at the same time, they're not completely blowing you off, right? They're being a little bit cagey about it. But for the most part, things are working out the way you expected them to. You're also being met with a high level of intuitive ability in yourself this week. And I think in a lot of ways, you're kind of like, whatever the scenario is, you're also beginning to see, you know, that your gut was right about it in some ways, right? Very strange energy here, Pisces, with this Judgment and High Priestess, because you round the week off with a Six of Pentacles, which is a feeling of money increasing and you being able to give more, you know, to give more, to be more charitable, to take care of responsibilities that maybe up until now you didn't have the abundance to take care of. But this High Priestess center card just gives me a little pause for thought in the sense that I think that there is somewhere along the line, there is someone who's being a little bit cagey with you in this reconciliation, and they may not be as willing to reconcile with you as you may have thought for whatever reason. I think that I feel an energy with this person here of someone who just thinks they're still a little bit better than you because they're a little caught up in their own sort of ego, right? Their own abilities. This is the person who like just thinks that they're so spiritual that they know everything. And so to a certain degree, I think you're being met with somebody who's not willing to receive you the way you expected for whatever reason. They're just going to make it a little bit more difficult for you to come back. The week still turns out really prosperous in some way, and there may be some money involved here, but it certainly feels like this person's definitely going to make you work for this reconciliation. Five of Cups, Hanged Man, and Page of Swords. So some of you come into this week very much thinking about a past relationship that really got you down, that was really painful. And you're finding it difficult to be positive. You know, you're finding, you're having a real internal struggle of, of either between wallowing in the past and the hurt that was caused and really trying to be positive and look forward, although you're finding it very difficult. For some of you, you come into this week and you're met with Hangman energy in a sense that I think for some of you, you're waking up to a pattern. Pisces, you may be waking up to a pattern this week where you're realizing that this has been going on for a little while too long. You've been allowing yourself to kind of hang in this really unhappy place, right? And I think you wake up this week a little bit to some of your own kind of inability to let go. Because Hangman energy is kind of like has a realization, right? He wakes up and he very much has a realization to the fact that he hasn't been putting his best foot forward somewhere. And I think this realization really hits you this week. And you end the week with a Page of Swords, because I think for some of you, this week is a week where you have a real epiphany. You have a real kind of, not even so much of an epiphany, but you really begin to have an understanding. Something becomes clear to you this week. Could be that these messages are coming in to let you know something about a scenario, but it's more to do with an understanding that you have about yourself, I think. And you really end this week with a desire to communicate with somebody or to open up a line of communication so that you can come out of this space, Pisces, right? You wake up to what your part is in all of this and you realize that it's about the communication, and you feel really sort of motivated by the end of the week to sort of go back to whatever the scenario is, whether it involved a lover or friends or family, and really open up a new line of communication, because I think you realize that one of the reasons that you're regretting and thinking about this dynamic so much is that you are also realizing that maybe there were things that you could have done better too. And so this is a real awakening, and yet at the same time, for a lot of you, it's a feeling of not really wanting to let go just yet. You want to try and fix it still. King of Swords, Queen of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. I'm going to leave it at that. This will be the last spread. And so for some of you, Pisces, you come into this week with this King of Swords energy, and you're really sort of taking control of a scenario, right? The King of Swords is very much like lays down the law. He also metes out the punishment. And I think for some of you, Pisces, there's a particular scenario where you're coming in this week, and I think it's going to certainly be a love connection in some ways, but you come in and you're like, look, this is how it's going to be. You know, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to be. You want to have an open communication with someone, with your lover. And King of Swords is very much the great rule maker. You know, he's the great disciplinarian and the great rule maker as well. And I think that this week you're coming in very, very strong and authoritative in your relationships, in the sense that you want to lay down the law. You're like, look, this is how this is going to go, right? And you're really very much taking charge of this connection. You're met with a Queen of Cups, and the person that you are coming towards with this, right, this definitive plan of how you desire this connection to go and how you desire it to go forward, they're being extremely receptive. This is a perfect meeting of someone who is very dominant and someone who's somewhat submissive, and you guys have a really nice connection. Your energies are complementary to each other. This person that you're coming towards is very happy for you to take the lead, right? They want you to take the lead, right? And to assume that role to a certain degree. And you're met with somebody who's being very, very open and honest with you about their feelings. And so again, this is a nice connection, a nice communication. Certainly, this is a healthy way that you're taking control of the situation, whatever needs to be controlled. And as a result, Wheel of Fortune is turning. And so the two of you come together in a fairly healthy way, right? You kind of take control of a situation that may have been getting out of hand. It could very well be that you're with a lover. An example could be, say you're with a lover, or you're with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you see that they're being stepped on at work, right? You see that there's something going on at work. Well, you come home and you say, look, this is what I want you to do. This is how you're going to handle it. You know, it's that type of thing. You know, it's not so much that you're dominating your lover, but it's like you're taking control of something in your relationship or something in your lives that needs to be handled. And they're grateful for you doing that because perhaps they don't have that, you know, this is a Queen of Cups. She's not resonating with Swords energy. And so, you know what I mean? So this is very much a healthy way of you taking control, and it's very much a feeling of you taking the control in a scenario for the betterment of the both of you. And what happens is the Wheel of Fortune turns because you have made a positive step forward, right? You have made a positive step forward in some dynamic or in some event or scenario, and so the universe begins to turn its wheel for you because, of course, as I said, December, the wheel is turning for everyone. And certainly for those of you who are making conscientious and intentional decisions towards a positive future and towards progressing, towards increasing love and abundance in a healthy and positive way, the universe is immediately turning the wheel for you. And really good options are coming in. An example would be that if something's going on at work with your lover and you're taking control of it, they may be a little bit afraid or that they're going to get some backlash. But what ends up happening is an opportunity for an even better job comes up because of this action that you took. That would be an example of this dynamic, right? So you take control of a scenario, and because you take control of the scenario, an even better sort of opportunity or option presents itself, right? And your lover is very happy for it. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it. This is your reading, Pisces, November 17th to the 23rd. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. But for right now, I'm just going to say, Pisces, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I shall see you next week. Bye-bye now.